Islam is huge. And Ilia was talking about fighting him too. You know, the size difference would be so big.
He's too big for 55, and then you see him at 170. Like, how did you ever make 55?
Hunter from the UFC, I was in his office not too long ago, and they keep record of all the weights fight night. And we were talking about the Islam fight when I fought Islam, and he was telling me his weight.
What did he weigh?
192 or something.
The day of the fight?
I think so, yeah. I was 176.
That's great. But it looks like it in the cage.
I looked across under those spotlights, and they had veins in his shoulders and shit. I'm like, wow, this guy's huge.
I can tell you this. Islam even have on one leg, he would have took the fight. This fight should happen this year. This is what happened. I got called about Ilia to fight Islam. Islam was sleeping. And after that, I got called back, said, never mind, fight's not gonna happen. Before even attack with Islam. He have to vacate this lightweight title. I don't think he wanted to do that, but everybody else did. And he's nothing special. And he wanted to be paid a lot of money. I can say, I'm gonna fight Francis Ngannou, give me $50 million. But in reality, Islam got offered a different fight at welterweight. It's a done deal already, and the UFC will announce it probably soon. But in reality, Ilia is on the White House because Justin Gaethje is fighting, not because Ilia Topuria. If Ilia did not take the fight, he was gonna fight Arman Sarukian for the undisputed title.
And last one from me. Earlier today, Islam Makhachev did an interview and said he's not ruling out coming back down to 155. But if it was up to you, would you rather fight him at 170 to get that third title, or would you be willing to fight him at 55 because that's the division that people say he might be the best at?
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170. And I will beat him and get the third title. That will be the best scenario for me.
Ну и последнее, вот ты уже не раз давал понять, что Gaethje против Илии Топури это мисс-матч. Вот все-таки какой бы, не знаю, совет бы дал, может быть, Gaethje в той части, чтобы он там лучше выглядел, я не знаю, более конкурентным был бой?
Я бы ему сказал бы травмироваться во время подготовки, дать мне шаг, вступить в этот бой и забрать титул, и потом он со мной что подать.
Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev would be the fight. That Ilia Topuria is something else, man.
Ilia's not looking to take it to the mat. Gaethje not looking to take it to the mat. There's going to be a situation where they come to the center ring like Gaethje and Holloway and just throw leather.
You can't do that with him. Justin Gaethje is my friend. I'm going to tell him don't do that with Ilia Topuria. He hit so hard. When him and Charles Oliveira were fighting, by the time Charles Oliveira hit the ground, he was already sleeping, man. Ilia Topuria is something else, man.
Have you spoken to Justin Gaethje about the fact that he's main eventing the White House, and what part? I know no one's really giving him a shot, but you can't just completely count Justin Gaethje out, right? Like, he's still got some kind of shot. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. He could look at it as an opportunity where he's got nothing to lose, right? Like, you can't lose any worse than Max and Charles did. So, like, he can go out there and potentially catch Ilia.
So I would say, because Justin's so good at like a dirty style of striking, it's like a dirty boxing, but kickboxing, whatever you want to call it. It throws good strikers off. Like, look at his fight with Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev is a very clean technical striker. You look at his fight with Rufi, it's a beautiful fight. It's a beautiful striking fight. You look at his fight with Bahamundos, beautiful striking fight. You look at his fights with Justin Gaethje, and you're like, that's just an ugly slugfest. But that's because Justin Gaethje is able to make you fall into his fight. It may look ugly to you, but that's how Justin wants to fight. And if he was able to do that with Rafael Fiziev, I think he could possibly do it with Ilia as well. So I think the fight might be closer than people expect.
If you enjoy fight coverage like this, subscribe now, because this matchup has the entire MMA world talking. The combat sports scene is still trying to process how real this all feels, because a White House fight card already sounded unreal, and now the headline bout is locked in with Ilia Topuria set to face Justin Gaethje in the main event. That announcement instantly set off arguments across the fight world, and for good reason, because this is not some ordinary style clash that fans can solve in 5 seconds. You have one fighter who operates with clean, sharp, disciplined technique and finishes people with cold precision, and standing across from him is a man who has built his name on chaos, damage, and knockout moments that fans replay for years. That contrast is exactly why this fight feels so dangerous. Ilia Topuria brings the kind of striking that forces people to pay attention to every small detail. His timing is tight, his reactions are fast, and when an opening appears, he does not waste it. He stays composed, he reads movement well, and he punishes mistakes in a way that makes elite opponents look suddenly vulnerable. There is no extra motion, no wasted effort, and that makes everything he throws feel even more threatening. Justin Gaethje is a completely different kind of problem, and that is what makes this fight so fascinating. He is one of the most violent and explosive fighters the sport has seen. A man who can turn a calm exchange into a disaster in 1 second. His power is real, his pressure is real, and once a fight starts moving at his speed, everything can fall apart fast for the other guy. He does not need many chances to change the outcome, and that has always been one of the scariest parts of his game. What makes this main event so compelling is that both men bring danger, but they do it in completely different ways. Ilia looks like the cleaner technician, the fighter who can set traps, stay balanced, and break somebody down with accuracy. Justin looks like the storm, the one who can drag a fight into ugly territory and make even a polished opponent deal with pure violence under pressure. That is why this matchup feels bigger than a normal contender fight. It feels like a collision between control and destruction. The moment this bout became official, people started splitting into camps. Some see Tupuria's technique as the deciding factor, and they believe that sharpness, discipline, and timing will be too much for Gaethje to deal with. Others look at Justin's track record, the damage he can cause, and the way he turns fights upside down, and they think raw force and experience in brutal wars could be enough to crack Ilia's rhythm. That debate is not cooling off anytime soon, and that is the real story here. This is not just a main event with two famous names attached to it. This is a fight where every exchange could answer a bigger question about skill, power, pressure, and composure at the highest level. When perfect technique steps into the cage with pure violence, somebody's idea of how this fight was supposed to go is going to fall apart fast.
Well, if we're gonna go at that, I got Ilia Topuria knocking him out.
Yeah, same here.
I just feel after you've been dropped so much and you're gonna fight somebody who's a deadly striker, great wrestler, who has a chin, who's willing to put himself in the fire to land that shot, and not just a shot to the face. Let's not forget about Ilia Topuria's body work.
The talk around the White House card has not slowed down for even a second, and a lot of that noise has come from fans claiming the lineup is somehow underwhelming. Chael Sonnen does not agree with that at all, and in his view, people criticizing this event are missing what is right in front of them. According to Sonnen, the UFC did not hold back here. In his eyes, they put together the biggest fights they could make, and that matters when you are building a card around a setting this historic. He looks at the names attached to the event and sees major drawing power all over it, not a weak lineup. Sean O'Malley is there, Alex Pereira is there, and Ilia is arriving as a rising force with huge momentum behind him. That alone gives the card star power that most promotions would kill to have. Still, Sonnen thinks fans are overlooking one of the most important pieces of the whole event, and that is Justin Gaethje. So that point matters because Justin is not just another recognizable name added for excitement. He is a two-time interim champion, a BMF title holder, and a fighter chasing yet another belt opportunity. Sonnen's argument is that when people talk about this card like it lacks weight, they are ignoring the kind of resume Justin brings into a fight like this. That changes the way the main event should be viewed. This is not only about Ilia making a huge appearance on a massive stage. It is also about Gaethje walking in with a career full of big fight experience, championship level credibility, and the kind of reputation that instantly raises the stakes of any matchup. A fighter with that kind of history cannot be treated like a side detail, especially not on a card built around huge names and huge pressure. Sonnen's larger point seems pretty clear. People are so focused on the unusual location and the spectacle of the White House setting that they are forgetting what the UFC actually put together. This is not a gimmick card built on novelty. In his mind, it is a serious event with proven stars, major personalities, and meaningful fights, especially once you remember that Justin Gaethje is part of the equation and not just background to Ilia's ride. Once you look at it from that angle, the criticism starts to sound weaker. A card with Sean O'Malley, Alex Pereira, Ilia Topuria, and Justin Gaethje carries real firepower, and Sonnen clearly believes fans calling it weak are judging it the wrong way. For him, the lineup has star value, belt relevance, eyes, and fighters with enough name recognition to make the entire event feel huge before the first punch is even thrown.
And I share with you, when you look at the UFC White House, and somebody said the card sucks, they brought you what they had. What else could you ever ask of somebody? They brought you what they had. Sean O'Malley and Pierre have been battling for a while now for who's the biggest star in the sport. They're both on the card. Pierre is in a brand new weight class with a title opportunity. This is massive. He's not even the main event. Then we're told, well, we have bona fide numbers between Pierre and O'Malley be the big stars in the absence of McGregor. We're told that Ilia Topuria is on the heels of everybody. So now he's going to come in against your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. We're completely dismissing Gaethje. which I feel that you're forgetting, is a two-time interim champion of the world. Tell me somebody else that can make that claim. Who's a BMF champion of the world. Justin Gaethje has captured 3 belts and is going for his 4th. They brought you what they...
Not everybody sees this fight as a coin flip, and Robert Whittaker made that clear when he gave his view on the matchup. His take was not built on hype or emotion. It came down to what he sees in Ilia Topuria's striking, and his opinion was that Ilia may be operating on a level that a lot of the roster simply cannot match. Whittaker pointed straight at the details that make Topuria so difficult to deal with. He talked about Ilia's timing, his instincts, and the way he launches sharp counterattacks at exactly the moment an opponent gives him the chance. That kind of praise stands out because it is not vague. It is specific, and it speaks to the parts of striking that often separate a dangerous contender from a truly elite finisher. The way Whittaker described it, Ilia does not just throw to score. He makes opponents pay for every step they take. That means the pressure starts building before the clean shots even land, because every movement becomes risky. Close distance carelessly, you get caught. Throw something lazy, you get answered. Drift into range without full awareness, and suddenly you are dealing with a counter you did not see coming. That is a miserable kind of fighter to stand across from. Whittaker's exact view was strong. He said Ilia is striking leagues above just about everybody in the UFC. And that is not the kind of statement people throw around lightly. When a respected fighter says something like that, it tells you he sees something in the mechanics, reactions, and decision-making that goes beyond simple power or aggression. He sees a level of polish that changes the whole fight. Because of that, Whittaker believes Justin's team has real work to do. This is not the type of matchup where you just show up with your usual game and expect it to be enough. The adjustments would need to be serious, because the version of Justin Gaethje that fought Paddy Pimblett, in Whittaker's view, would not be enough to beat Ilia right now. That comment says a lot because it points directly at form, preparation, and the standard Justin would need to reach if he wants to win. That does not mean Whittaker is counting Justin out as a dangerous opponent. Gaethje is still Gaethje, and everybody knows what kind of damage he can create. What it does mean is that he sees Ilia's striking as a much bigger issue than some fans may realize. In other words, if Justin comes in looking anything less than fully adjusted, fully disciplined, and fully ready for that level of timing, the fight could get ugly in a hurry, and that is where this matchup becomes even more tense. One side sees Gaethje's violence, reputation, and power as enough to break through anyone. The other side, and Whittaker clearly leans here, sees Topuria's striking as something different, something sharper and more punishing than what most fighters are prepared for. That kind of divide is exactly why the conversation around this fight keeps getting louder.
To knock him out.
You know, I'm not gonna give up on my boy that quick. Okay, Ilia's, but I'll just lay it out there. Ilia's striking is leagues above everybody, like just about everybody in the UFC, you know, and the wrestling and jiu-jitsu is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
His timing, his instincts, his instinct to fire off in like his counterattacks. You know, he'll make you pay for every step you take. It's a hard fight.
Yeah,
Things
man.
have got to change in Gaethje's camp to make the fight competitive.
Yeah.
Right now, the Gaethje that fought Paddy won't beat.
This fight has people split for a reason, because both men bring the kind of danger that can end a night in a flash. Ilia Topuria has the clean technique, the sharp counters, and the kind of timing that can punish even the smallest mistake. Justin Gaethje brings experience, destruction, and the kind of power that can blow a fight apart before anyone settles in. That is why this matchup feels so big. It is not only about who lands first or who hits harder, it is about who controls the moment, who handles the pressure better, and who forces the other man into the kind of fight he does not want. With that much at stake, every second is going to matter. Drop your prediction in the comments and say who you think takes it, Ilia or Justin, and tell us what gives your pick the edge. Subscribe right now for more fight breakdowns, expert opinions, and the latest updates from inside the octagon, because this one is only getting bigger from here.